My name's Ben Clark. My friends call me Banjo Ben, and I teach banjo, mandolin, and guitar on the internet. So we're headed now to Dave Dillard's Banjo Workshop. Dave owns Nashville Banjo Company and has a workshop south of Nashville in Brentwood, Tennessee, where he makes some of the world's finest banjos. Not only is he one of the world's best banjo makers, but he's just one of the world's best guys and a good friend. And I'm going to have him build a banjo for my sister Katie. But I want to be a part of it. I want to help him build it and also learn. We're getting close to Dave's shop. I'm excited to get my hands dirty, learn more about this process. But what I'm most excited about is making this banjo a one-of-a-kind banjo. I want it to be unlike any other banjo and one that Katie can really be proud of. I've toured with artists such as Lila McCann, Josh Grayson, Grand Ole Opry member Craig Morgan, and of course Taylor Swift. Dave, Mr. Dillard. How's it going, man?
Banjo Ben.
Yes, sir.
In person.
Hey, Mr.
Well,
Dave Dillard.
glad you're here.
Absolutely, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're going to look at building a banjo.
Will you show me around the shop right quick? I'm so excited to learn, and I want to know what all happens here.
All right, come on in.
I never imagined teaching music for a living. I never even imagined playing music for a living. I grew up in a very diverse household. It was quite unique. I grew up on a working farm in East Texas, but I also grew up in the culture of classical music and was classically trained on piano. I may have been the only guy within a few hundred miles of myself that milked cows for his family and practiced Bach two-part inventions before school ever started.
With this banjo, we're going to start with, I've got some wood for us to look at, but I start with a tree.
Yeah.
That's enough for one banjo right
Wow.
here. Yeah.
So you have different parts in various stages here.
This is the neck blank, and you can see it's with one piece of wood. I split it down the middle, and then I'll bookend it. I'll fold it up on itself. And, you know, trees don't want to be banjos. Can't really blame them. They want to be trees. So if it wants to bend, the one half wants to bend this way, this half will want to bend that way, and you keep a good strong neck.
I came from a long line of teachers and educators of music. I actually wanted to be a veterinarian. But at the same time, I was introduced to this bluegrass genre. I discovered what a banjo was. I discovered what a guitar and a mandolin was. And I was absolutely infatuated with those things. So much so that I actually dropped out of my biology grad program and pursued commercial bluegrass music in Levelland, Texas.
Once it's glued up, then I'll take and cut the shape like this out of it.
Okay.
So rough it out and have a shape sort of like this.
And this is ebony here?
Yeah, ebony fingerboard, so I'll thickness that and slot that, put a truss rod underneath it. Cut this angle for the peg head right here. And this, when it gets to this point, it's ready to start carving.
All right.
So I've got all my carving tools over here. Spool it down. Everything that's not a banjo goes in the vacuum cleaner.
How long have you been doing this?
About 3 years.
great banjos. Definitely unlike any banjo that I've played. I'm used to them weighing a lot more.
Weighing a lot more.
Maybe being a little louder.
And having a back on them.
Yeah.
And punching the note out. But an open back banjo, the sound's going to stay right here with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right here. It's a more personal instrument. It's not for everybody else. It's for yourself in a lot of ways.
So as a bluegrass banjo player, is it going to be difficult for me to move over to a clawhammer style?
Well, Ben, I don't know how to say this, but yes. It's going to be frustrating to start with.
Okay.
But then, because you know the instrument, because you know the positions, you know some of the melodies, you know the fingering, it's going to move quicker after that. But getting this right hand technique figured out is going to be a trick.
Most any worthy pursuit requires some effort,
Yes,
so I'm not
it
afraid
will.
of that.
You'll be practicing, and one day it's just going to click, and then you're going to all the songs that you knew before. You're going to be like, "Wait, I can play this clawhammer. I can play this one clawhammer."
Man,
So
cool.
the click
What's
will
step
come
number
eventually.
one? Give me the
Step number one
lesson 101.
is get out of your head that you're going to pick any strings. You're not going to pull
Okay.
up on any strings, and you're not going to flick down on any strings. You're going to make your hand as if you're holding a credit card in your hand. So
Okay.
make sort of a claw shape right there, and then you're going to come down and strike. I want you to come down and strike this first string with the back of that first finger.
Okay.
That's all you're going to do. Just one time there. But when you do that, have the thumb come and land on that fifth string like it's going to take a nap right there.
Gotcha.
And it's just going to
Okay.
land there and cock
So
on
that
it.
kind of catches it.
Yes. Now do that and off the second string. Good. Now do it off the third string. And even off the fourth string. So sort of work your way through those. First, second, third, fourth. Just start cycle around. Good. Now I'm playing clawhammer. You're going to play up in this area a little bit more. You're going to get that mellow sound out of it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, now we're going to change that. We're going to come down and hit the first string. We're still going to land the fifth on there like it's a hammock, like it's sleeping there.
Okay.
You're going to come down first string, and then you're going to strum. And then have that fifth cock right there. Yeah, so do that again. So just repeat with me. Thing to that, and we're going to have the basic clawhammer stroke. We're going to come down, we're going to hit the string, strum, and then we're going to pop off that fifth string in tune there. Now, it's not a big like, I'm going to pull that note, it's a little bit popping off of it.
You're almost coming up and letting it drop.
Yes. So that's the bum diddy stroke. We put that with, let's do boiled and cabbage down, like note on the first string, second fret. The note up to third fret. Back to third.
So I dropped everything. I moved out west to Levelland, Texas, where I met my future wife, Hannah. And there, for literally 8 hours a day, I worked on a craft. I worked on learning how to play banjo, mandolin, and guitar under some of the best instructors that there ever were. And what's amazing is that even at that time, I had no idea that that was what I was going to do. Actually, what started that conversation was Hannah moved to Nashville to pursue music business at Belmont University. That was enough to cause me to pack the bags and to move north to Nashville to pursue a living as a musician, but also to pursue her. So we'll keep that center strike down, or make it a center strike.
Mm-hmm.
That would sure be pretty. Oh, choices. I would like to go with the center strike.
All right, let's do that. We'll figure out which side is the top.
Okay.
Once it's wet, you can't tell. And keep this part. Next thing we need to do is we need to go put that in some coffee and let it start turning dark.
Coffee. Let's do it.
Did you bring any coffee?
Fresh out. Hopefully you have it. When I got to Nashville, I was in for a big shock because I realized I was a very, very small fish in a huge ocean. You know, when you move to Nashville as a musician, you need to keep yourself in check because literally your waiter or your waitress at Olive Garden is probably a better musician than you. So I knew that if I was going to pursue being a professional musician and also try to provide for a family, something special was going to have to happen. I knew it was going to have to be something beyond just my own abilities.
Ben, you want to make this a really special banjo for your sister, I know. And I think we've already talked about, you like the idea of walnut.
Yeah, I like the darker tones that walnut's going to give us.
Yeah, so I've picked out some pieces for us to look at. So I think one of the first things we need to do is pick out a piece of wood you want to use for the neck.
Okay.
And the type of wood we want to make for the rim. I like to make it out of the same tree if possible.
Are any of the wood characteristics going to translate into sound preferences?
Well, every piece of wood's different. Everyone's going to sound a little bit different. Walnut being a nice, good hardwood, it's going to sound a little bit brighter than cherry.
Okay.
You know, if you want to look really fancy and impress people, you can hold a piece of wood like this and listen to it as you knock on it and see what you think.
Ah, very nice.
But this is a good piece of walnut here. But I've been saving this piece of wood for you because, tell me a little bit about your sister and the group she plays in.
Well, my sister Katie has a twin, Penny, and they have a group called the Purple Hulls.
Yeah.
It's a bluegrass and bluegrass gospel group and acoustic country. And they travel all over the world. They play a whole lot. Of course, most places in the world don't know what a Purple Hull is.
My shop included.
One of the main crops that we grew were Purple Hull peas.
Okay.
The girls actually would sell Purple Hull peas on the roadside too.
Yeah.
They actually put themselves through college doing that.
Wow. I've been saving this piece of wood here. This is a piece of walnut. And depending on where walnut grows and its water supply and the minerals in that water supply, it can have purple. And if you hold that in the light right, you'll see this has a good bit of purple tint in the wood.
It does.
Which as we sand it down, you'll see that even more. Even down here, nice purple color. And I thought that could be interesting to have some purple walnut. I did have a couple of very important contacts. I was actually rooming with a guy who had a record deal on Universal Records, a very talented singer, Matt Jenkins. Eventually, I received a call from a drummer who I'd played in a band with that told me about a new job. And he said, we need somebody who can play dobro and banjo and mandolin guitar. And I don't know if you're interested or not, but we have a spot open for a brand new artist. And I thought, I don't know if I want to go work for a brand new artist. I have to start over from the beginning. He said, well, she's a 16-year-old girl. I said, okay. But as a Texan, you're going to love this. She has the opening spot for the George Strait tour. And that was all that I needed to hear. And over the next few weeks, I would join the band of a 16-year-old girl that would, within the first few years of that first tour, become the best-selling artist in the world. And that's Taylor Swift. Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to start cutting the wood for the banjo. We're going to cut a bunch of these blocks today.
Okay.
So I've got a jig here that helps you not cut your fingers off and cut these blocks all the same size. So I'm going to load this up. So we're setting this for a 12-inch size rim, and we'll set this angle here 22.5 degrees, and lock it in, and we'll get started cutting some wood.
Okay. It was a big dream of mine when I moved to Nashville. I dreamed of what it would be like to jump on a tour bus or jump on a jet and wake up in a new city each day. When I got the job with Taylor, that quickly became a reality, and that was enthralling. I loved seeing the world. We got to play all the TV shows and all the award shows and all the big festivals. We got to play Times Square and New Year's Eve. So those were the good times. At the same time, there was a bit of an internal struggle because I did want to have a family. I did want to have children. I did want to spend more than just a few days a year at home with my family. And so even though I had the best road gig with the hottest artists that you can imagine, there was this draw to come back home.
All right, so you got your rim blocks cut. Now we're going to glue them together.
Okay.
Make an octagon out of those.
Okay.
We're going to do one little trick in the process though. We're going to split this thing. As we glue it up, we're going to put these two spacers in here. And the reason why is that's a little trick that helps us pull all the joints up nice and snug. We end up with 0 gaps. You need a day job?
Yes, I do.
Now we're going to take this high-tech hose clamp here. I'm going to tie it all together, okay?
All right.
Make sure that hose clamp is in the middle of those pieces so it's not tilting it one way or the other. Yeah, try to bring that one back even.
Too far. There we go.
Snug it up a little bit. Then what I do at this point is I hang it up here above the deer. Let that thing dry. Now I'm gonna make 3 more of them.
Wow.
All right, ready?
Yeah. As I was on the road, something began to happen to me, and that was a feeling of unrest, a feeling of dissatisfaction. You know, as we would approach these new milestones with Taylor and her career, I would wonder if I experienced that, would that make me happy? Would that satisfy that longing inside of me? And the tragic thing was each time we would play that next bigger stage, each time we would play that next award show, it did nothing for that unrest inside of me. And I remember going into the gig New Year's Eve in Times Square and thinking, this is the biggest stage that I can play. We have 1.5 million people out there in front of us and literally hundreds of millions watching on TV. And I remember walking off that stage that night, still feeling that overwhelming yearning of there's something more. What could be more than that? Well, I didn't know yet, but I knew that I wasn't supposed to continue out there on the road. And that night, I didn't even watch the ball drop. I went back to my hotel room. I called my wife and I said, I don't know what it's going to look like for us, but I'm quitting.
All right, so we've got some pieces of the rim glued up, and while you're here and you got glue on your hands, let's go ahead and glue up the neck blank. We're just gonna bookend it like that. That's how it's gonna look. And so we're gonna piece that together with a piece of black tulip poplar in the middle, so a nice black stripe.
Okay, yeah.
Banjo. So first thing we gotta do is cut this piece of veneer, same size as one of these blocks. So let's just lay it here on the table, line that edge up down there. You wanna cut this piece out? Pretty thin, so one slice down should pretty much do it. When you try to glue all this stuff together and clamp it, it's going to wiggle around like a greasy pig, which doesn't keep things in the right place. So what I do is we're going to pin it all together. We're going to pin the edges with some dowels.
Okay.
Take it back apart, and then when we glue it, we're going to have these pins in there.
That'll hold.
And we'll clamp it, and it'll hold it in place. We'll come in about a 1/2 inch.
Okay.
So we're going to do similar to what we did on the other ones. We're going to coat each surface with glue.
Okay.
Which usually takes about
that much.
Yeah, about that much right there.
Fingers or brush?
Even that all out. You can use fingers if you really like. Kindergarten.
When I decided to come off the road with Taylor, we didn't know exactly how we would make ends meet, but we knew that we could trust the one who had brought us that far already. Actually, I had an incredible opportunity with Sony Publishing to sign a publishing deal and to write songs. And at that time, my 3 sisters, they're all great musicians. The 2 youngest ones are twins, Penny and Katie. They moved to town pursuing music as well. So we were all 3 blessed to be able to sign a publishing deal with Sony Publishing, which is the largest country music publisher, to write songs together, both for us as a group, a potential group, but also for other artists as well. At the same time, I knew that that wasn't going to last forever. So that's when I began more serious with the teaching and began uploading more and more videos to YouTube and eventually building my first website to see if teaching for a living might even become a possibility. Well, I'm back at Dave's Banjo Shop.
Yeah.
And we've got some rim layers here.
Rim layers.
That we glued up.
We glued these up. We've got to turn this into a banjo rim.
Okay.
Set that onto this jig and clamp this top piece onto it. It gets really tight, really easy. Drop that onto there. Now, the way this jig's going to work is we're going to turn the saw on. I'm going to lean into it. And when I'm far enough, there's a block under here that's going to stop. So I'm going to do this first one and let you come into the other ones, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut this on. Keep your hands out of the way. And I don't move the hand past this halfway point right here.
Wow.
Let's load up another one.
Okay. Nice. So Dave, I've got these rim pieces cut into circles.
Yes.
But we don't need 4 of them. We only need 1. So what are we going to do?
No, we're going to need 4 of them. And what you're going to need to do is we're going to pick out the back of the banjo that you fold it over and look at it. We want the prettiest piece of wood there on the back.
That makes sense.
Oh, that's pretty. And then we're going to stair step them like this.
Okay.
So they're offset a little bit.
That way our joints don't line right up.
Right. Let's take the bottom piece out.
Glue the top.
Put it down in here. And we're going to cover that surface with glue. Then we're going to grab the next piece, do the bottom of it. But let's do this right here first. Yeah, this part goes pretty quick. And this is like the neck blanket. We'll just set it up to dry. I'm going to shim in that extra space right there. That's done. That'll dry a few days. When you come back, we'll make it look pretty.
Excellent. I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
There was a time when I measured success by stages I played and how big those stages were and how many lights were shining on me. But I've found now I base my success off of what others achieve.
Today, we're going to slide a fingerboard, unless you want to give Katie a fretless banjo.
Oh.
She probably wouldn't appreciate that.
Probably not. But it would almost be a good joke.
So what we're going to use is this jig and slot the fingerboard. And this right here is a template that is already notched for a 25-inch scale. So wherever these notches are will be for this jig where a slot ends up.
And then you have 25 and a half on this
This
side.
is a, well, we're going to use 25 and a half. Just the top. And we're going to stick this on here, and then we're going to run some slots.
Okay.
Double-sided tapes here. Sticky stuff. So I've got this side squared off. We're going to cut our frets so they're perpendicular to the third string. So that's going to hold in place.
Okay.
Slide it all the way down here. Our first fret's going to be right about here. Little marks just so we know when we're getting close to done. That pin will drop into these notches. Tighten this down. And these bearings right here are set on the ridge of the edge of that saw. Once it's set up, it takes about 5 minutes. So I'm going to run that through. It doesn't take long. You feel like you're just riding across those bearings. You just feel like metal on metal. And just pull that out. Now slide that down to the next notch. You can sort of get up here and feel when it's in the next notch. There it is. Fret number 2.
Good.
Yeah.
So we've slotted the fingerboard.
Yes.
And we've got our old friend here, this rim block. I want to call it a blank. It's a rim block.
Yeah.
These are those 4 pieces that we cut into a circle and then we glued them together.
All the little trapezoids glued up into a big chunk here.
Oh, wow.
And this is probably one of the funnest parts. We're going to take this down and start turning it down to a nice smooth cylinder.
Oh,
so
man.
what we have here is part of an old wood lathe, a couple of routers mounted on cross slides, a windshield wiper motor, and I built a little pulse width modulator here that'll turn this thing at a certain speed. And we're going to crank this thing up and make it smooth, all right? Back out. We're going to come in
A little bit more.
Yeah, let you take a pass at it.
Okay.
All right, so Ben, we've taken your neck blank and sort of cut it out to rough shape here and glued a fingerboard on it, put a truss rod in there, cut a scoop out. So we've done a lot of work on this, but it's ready now to everything that's not a banjo to cut it away.
Yeah, this is a part that I've always imagined being really intimidating.
It was intimidating to do to start with, but you know, it's now the most relaxing part. I'll put on some classical music and just enjoy seeing what this wood wants to become.
What happens if you take away a little bit too much?
Then you start over.
Don't tell me that.
It's going to take off little ribbons of wood.
Okay.
Being a banjo player, you're able to feel that, and right now you're able to say, that doesn't feel like a neck yet.
Right.
And you're able to just keep cutting on
Yeah.
it. So the fact that you've played instruments for a long time makes it easy to carve a neck because you don't look at it, you feel it.
As a musician, I'm thankful for the incredible opportunities that I had, but they pale in comparison to how thankful I am to play a role in a whole new generation of pickers' lives. I've been doing it long enough now to see a whole new crop of musicians grow up in this internet age and have benefited from my videos that I've put out, and there's all these musicians that are going on to much bigger and better musical heights than I ever have or ever will, and it's humbling to know that I'm perhaps played just a small role in their success.
We need to move on now and get this goat skin mounted. It's been soaking in coffee for who knows how long. Let's pat it dry.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good color. Look
Isn't
at that.
it beautiful?
So the flesh soup goes on, and that's what the skin wraps around. Sort of puts it on there. What we're going to do here, we're going to grab the skin, work it back up inside. This is actually one of my favorite parts.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot easier with two people. Slippery goat.
There it is.
Yeah. The first few weeks it stretches a lot. So that's it. This feels a little bit loose right now, but overnight that's going to dry and be good and tight, and then I'll tighten it down about a quarter turn each day.
Okay.
It pops and sings.
Wow. Look at that. It has been one of the coolest journeys I've been on. Just to watch a master do what he does, and then for you to be so kind as to let me play a role in it.
Well, this is going well. I think you're doing great with it. I think you've got a real knack for this.
Well, cool. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. I'll see you soon.
I don't even know what we're playing.
No, let's do a two banjo thing.
Song.
Grab that banjo over there in the black bag. I just got it.
Wow. Open back, man.
Yep.
That's a really pretty banjo. You selling it on your site?
Maybe.
It is really pretty. Pretty.
It's beautiful.
What kind of wood is that?
It's black walnut.
Look, purples. What the heck? Oh my gosh. What the heck? Ben! Wow.
What does it say?
What? Handcrafted for Katie Lou. What?
Happy
Really?
birthday. Not really birthday, because then I would have to get you something too.
Yeah.
I have a favorite banjo builder, Dave Dillard,
Golly.
and I told him to build you the most beautiful banjo we could
This
think
is
of.
so beautiful. It's
And I helped him build
really
it.
Pretty. You did?
Yes, I did.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, I want that.
Strum it for us. I've got the audio on. It's a little loud too, but
Wow.
It's
that
warm.
thing is ringing.
yeah.
There's the Cumberland. Handcrafted from select black walnut with purple veins. 12-inch segmented walnut block rim. Hand-carved two-piece walnut neck. Black maple neck center stripe. Coffee-stained artisan goat skin head. Stained with coffee?
Yes, we stained it with coffee.
Okay. Hand-cut copper and brass purple hole peg head inlay. 25.5-inch scale neck and ebony fingerboard. Traditional dowel stick construction. Solid brass notched brass tension hoop. 1 5/16-inch black buffalo horn nut.
Whoa.
Yeah, buffalo
That's
horn nut.
cool. Handcrafted solid brass flesh hoop. Tobacco stained maple bridge.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
some specs.
Yep. So say thank you, Dave.
Wow, thank you so
Wow,
much.
that's so nice.
Why
Dave.
are we being recorded?
So
or something?
nice.
Yes, I'm
Oh
recording.
my gosh. Thank you, Dave. Wow, that's something.
I like that
I hope
wood.
hope to meet Dave sometime and see his workshop.
Yeah, we had fun planning it, and we worked together on the ideas. I had a dream for the purple hole inlay, and he made it happen.
Wow.
When you build a banjo, you start with raw materials and with chunks of wood that look nothing like what their final product would be, but at the hand of a master craftsman, at the hand of someone who has expertise and wisdom, those raw materials and those big chunks of wood are turned into a work of art. When I look back over my life, there's so many things that I'm thankful for, because I see how each and every experience and chapter of my life has been woven together to bring me to where I am now. And to me, that's how God works. He takes these rough people like me that are so far from being a masterpiece, and he uses experiences and trials even to mold and shape them into the works of art that he wants to create. And it's for a purpose. And the purpose is to create music. The purpose is to reflect the glory of their maker. The purpose is ultimately to bring joy to the Creator and joy to others.